Now, the last part of this lecture is about the consequences of mutation. Now, we did a once-over of mutations in the previous lecture, the replication, during the replication. So, basically, mutations are changes in the DNA sequence, basically permanent changes that persist from to the next generation, or rather, in the generation after. Now, if the nucleotide sequence of the gene changes, it may result in an altered gene product. So remember, the gene is not, or rather, the DNA is not solely comprised of genes. We have actually, rather, the genes only consist of around 3% of the actual DNA. So it's actually quite small. But if that mutation hits the gene, or the sequence where, or the region, or basically the gene, the part where the gene is, or basically the sequence within that gene, so you will have, more often than not, an altered gene product. So mutations are small-scale changes in the nucleotide sequence of a cell's DNA that alters the genetic code. So they are relatively uncommon events in normal cells, but when we talk about tumor cells, they are very common. Now, less than 2% of the human DNA encodes the gene products. So basically, that means the human DNA, only among the entirety of the human DNA, less than 2% are basically genes. So any given mutation has a low probability of affecting them. But some mutations do occur still. So now, some mutations do not affect gene products because of codon redundancy. So remember, again, sometimes the third codon is, it's okay to change the third codon because it doesn't change your amino acid. Because again, mutations are harmful if the product is altered. So redundancy, because of the codon redundancy, we are still relatively safe. So it's some sort of defense mechanism, if you call it a defense mechanism against mutation. Anyway, so some mutations can have severe consequences. So although we have some benign mutations, the opposite is also applicable. So they can have severe consequences. So it may drastically change your amino acid in a protein. So we have two types of mutation: the base pair substitution, or deletion and or insertion. Now, base pair substitution may result in a premature stop codon or a different amino acid in a protein product. Example of that is a sickle cell anemia, whereas you have a different amino acid in certain product, and that results in a hemoglobin that polymerizes with other hemoglobin. Instead of just having 4 subunits, it becomes a polymeric protein chain, or rather, it becomes a polymer, and it causes the sickness sickle cell anemia. Now, insertions or deletions are more deleterious, or they are more, more dangerous. Well, if I'm going to have a mutation, I'd rather have a base pair substitution than a deletion or insertion. So, it's basically the worst that can happen, a deletion or insertion, because it changes the reading frame. Because remember, again, you have codons, you group them into trees. But if there's a deletion or insertion, if you delete a single amino acid, now the whole codon, basically we call it the reading frame, will shift. So we will have either an entirely different protein, or you can have a stop codon somewhere that you do not want. So example of that is called the thalassemia disease. Again, it's a blood type of blood disease. So in here, we have different types: alpha or beta thalassemia. The less common is the alpha thalassemia. It's while one of the reason would be a deletion or insertion. Basically, the alpha globin part subunit. It's a subunit of your ribosome. No, not ribosome. Hemoglobin. There's the shift in the reading frame, so the alpha subunit that is produced is not what you want it to be, so it's basically non-functional, and it causes, basically, alpha thalassemia is more fatal than the beta thalassemia, because usually the fetus dies in the womb before it even develops because of this mutation. Now, for the beta thalassemia, although it's not as fatal, it's still quite fatal, because usually people with beta thalassemia or rather, children with beta thalassemia do not grow into maturity. They usually die at the age of 7. Okay, so basically those are one of the beta thalassemia. The problem here is the beta globin, not the alpha globin. But again, beta globins, because they cannot have a functional beta globin subunit of the hemoglobin, they die in their childhood. So basically that's the thalassemia disease. So between the sickle cell anemia, people can grow to adulthood. They can grow to adulthood. Basically, they have even some sort of resistance against dengue and malaria even. But still, they are anemic people, and they can still die. There's still a possibility you can die of sickle cell anemia, but still you can relatively live a normal life and enjoy adulthood if you have just a base pair substitution for sickle cell anemia. But thalassemia diseases, people usually die in their childhood, or even not even they in the stage of the fetal stage. So anyway, here is what a more detailed view of mutation, the consequences of mutation entails. So here is a normal. There's no mutation, normal gene, there's no mutation here. So this is the normal sequence, proline, glutamate, lysine, and serine. Now, in the base pair substitution here, instead of, so remember, look at position number 20. So you have your, here it's a thymine, but it becomes adenine here. So there's a mutation. And when you get the RNA copy, so you have the messenger RNA here. So of course it becomes U instead of A. Now, it becomes GUG. The codon is GUG instead of GAG. And GUG does not encode for glutamate, but instead it encodes for valine. Now, valine is a non-polar amino acid. Glutamate is a polar amino acid. So herein lies the problem. This is just a single base mutation and a single amino acid difference between the two proteins or protein products, but it causes your sickle cell anemia because this one is hydrophobic and it changes the shape of your hemoglobin. So the hemoglobin then forms polymers with other hemoglobin molecules, and then you get a sickle cell disease. So the sickle cell anemia, your red blood cell, instead of its iconic donut shape, well, donut-like shape, without basically the hole. But anyway, donut shape, it becomes shaped like a sickle, a half moon or a quarter moon shape. So it becomes elongated. That is your hemoglobin. So this is your sickle cell disease because of just a single changes in your base, a single base pair substitution that changes your amino acid. So that is your sickle cell anemia. So the next one is a deletion. In here, it deletes the one in the 20th position. So you have a deletion here. So what is deleted here? GGACC. Okay. So the one that is deleted is this T. Again, thymine is the problem. So you deleted the thymine. So in here, you will see, instead of, for substitution, the rest remains the same, glutamate, lysine, and serine. But for insertion or deletion, the whole reading frame shifts. So instead of a codon reading frame that is GAG, GAG, AAG, UCU, so your codon now reads GGG, AGA, AGU, CUG. So basically the whole, we call it the reading frame. Reading frame is basically from the start codon to the end codon. That's one reading frame. So because of a single base deletion, everything shifts. So, or rather, from the site of the insertion or deletion, it shifts. The rest of the codon shifts. So you will have a different set of amino acids being produced. So this is beta thalassemia, a genetic disorder which a person has abnormally low amount of hemoglobin, because this protein now, because it has a different amino acid, it's no longer called, you cannot call it beta globin again anymore, and it doesn't function like a beta globin anymore because it has a different amino acid now. So usually it becomes a useless protein lying around inside the cell. So basically, you do not have a working beta globin, you have instead a trash protein, and that can cause the beta thalassemia, which is a fatal disease. Now, and the same goes for an insertion. When you have an insertion, you have, instead of deleting, you add here another base. So this is the TC. Okay, number 28. So between positions 27 and 28, so you have a new base that's added. So for example, this is C. So here, the reading frame shifts. So it just only show one change. But anyway, that means there's a change from the valine to the next succeeding amino acids, or basically amino acid residues downstream of that site. So the rest, starting from valine to the end of the polypeptide chain, it's a different amino acid. And that again is another beta thalassemia outcome. So for beta thalassemia, it's more of the outcome of several mutations, but collectively we call it the beta thalassemia because the end result is the same. You do not have a functional beta globin subunit, so you cannot create a functional hemoglobin. So that is, those are consequences of mutations. So we have here another changes in mutations. So altered splicing. This is for keratin. This is usually seen in, say, albino people. So the gene, not albino, sorry. But anyway, this is for keratin. So the gene keratin is the protein that, it's a support type of protein. It's a structural protein that allows our skin to be supple and, well, it's similar to function to collagen, but keratin is more of a functional, structural support. So you have a firm, not sagging skin. So anyway, in the keratin gene, you have a region of intron here, but in the normal splice site, you have, basically it should splice between C and G, but the G is changed to A, and it cannot function anymore as a splice site. It was not recognized by the splicing, the molecule splicing this gene. So unrecognizable splice site. So instead of removing this intron, you have, it's incorporated into your mRNA transcript, so, and then translated. Unfortunately, this intron contains a stop codon, and so when it has a stop codon, your mutation now has, so basically, instead of translating the whole gene or the whole basically transcript to create the whole protein, it stops prematurely here, and it no longer, you just have a protein that is half finished. And basically, depending on the extent of the protein that was translated, basically, non-functional protein. So those are consequences of mutations. Okay, so this concludes the lecture for gene expression, basically transcription and translation.